WZBN TV News, your best choice for award-winning coverage of local news and sports since 1993. Where the people, the places, and the events of your community, the New Jersey Capital Region, can be seen and heard. WZBN TV News, hometown news that matters most to you. From Hamilton to Trenton to Princeton and beyond, WZBN TV News. We've got you covered.
Hello and welcome to WZBN's coverage of the State of Robbinsville Township Address 2012. I'm Mark Fontes. We will bring you Mayor David Freed's presentation in its entirety in just a moment. But first, the address is brought to you by Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital of Hamilton, the care you trust, by PSE&G, we make things work for you, and by 4Best Solar. Their power of experience enables you to capture the sun's 100% clean, proven, and free electric. A bright investment for your home or business. We'll be right back.
Your child trusts you to know what's best. When every minute counts, trust the specially trained physicians and nurses at Robert Wood Johnson Hamilton. Pediatric emergency care at the speed of childhood. RWJ Hamilton, the care you trust.
PSE&G is dedicated to protecting the environment and believes that reducing greenhouse gases is a goal we all must share. Today, with growing concerns over how New Jersey and the nation will meet the increasing demand for energy while helping to combat climate change, PSE&G is working to develop new ways in which conservation, technology, and renewable energy sources like solar power can help us to address these concerns. PSE&G, we make things work for you.
Welcome back. Robbinsville, though it does not even have 15,000 residents, does face overcrowded conditions in some of its schools and other issues around town. Township Mayor Dave Freed spoke about these and many other matters Thursday. Now, in its entirety, the State of Robbinsville Address 2012.
Thank you. Oops, thanks. Thank you. Welcome. First, I'd like to thank the Mercer Chamber for having me today, WZBN for putting this on, Poseidon for having us here. And I'd also like to pay a special thank you to my wife. Came out to see me speak today, and it's interesting when you have kids. I'm going to be doing my first shout-out to my daughter and son, Ashley and Brett, who asked me to mention them, so they'll be in school now, but watching this later. Kids change everything. I'd also like to make a special thank you to a group, and first let me start by saying I'm a partisan in this. It's a group that I helped organize and was a founder of, and that's First Choice Bank. They were a sponsor for this event this evening. And when we first started First Choice Bank, we had a lot of ideas, we had a lot of hopes, we had a lot of dreams. We wanted a bank that would be involved in the community, that would get involved in the communities that they're in, that would give back, and that would also be able to work with small business in Mercer County and the Chamber. And their CEO is here today, Randy Hanks. I want to thank you for putting this on. As I go around Mercer County, I'm always seeing First Choice being recognized, and thank you for really making all of our hopes reality. You've really done a great job. 2 years ago, I came before you and I wanted to talk a little bit about debt. And one of the things that I thought was wrong in our country is the fact that we have had an overdependence on debt and deficit spending. And I thought, at least in our small way, we would start reversing that trend, and that we would start trying to move away from debt and to start paying our bills as we go, and to stop our dependence on debt. Last year, we were able to reduce our debt by about $300,000. Today, I stand before you and tell you that we have now reduced our debt by an additional $1.8 million, which is about 6% over the last 2 years. And I really believe if we continue this trend over the next 10 years, we'll be able to move away from debt and start being able to pay our bills on time. And we're actually going to go back to a little bit of old style way of thinking, where we're actually going to save for projects that we want to do as we go forward. And I think as we think about government, that's going to allow us to be able to do more things. It's going to allow us to be able to provide more programs and more services for our residents because we won't be continually paying on massive amounts of debt. And I hope it's a trend that we'll be able to, at least in our part of the world, start continuing. When we think about debt, we also have to obviously talk about taxes. And taxes are probably one of the more difficult things here in New Jersey because there is such a heavily reliance on local property taxes. And it's difficult. Last year we were flat, and when I became mayor, we had probably the fastest growing property taxes in all of Mercer County. Today we have one of the most stable tax rates in Mercer County. I was hoping to be flat again this year. We're actually going to increase about $0.015. And a good portion of that is because some of our expenses went up that we couldn't control. Gasoline continues to get more expensive. We also have trash waste disposal that has gotten more expensive. And the one trend, which was actually our biggest budget item, is something that I have been talking about for years. And that is we did reval at the top of the market. This year again, the largest expense in our budget is going to be making sure that we give money back to people for revaluations, for property owners whose properties are now more valued than when we actually assessed their value 3 years ago. They come in and they file appeals, and we have managed to lose 100% of our appeals. And when you think about that from a taxpayer standpoint, we spent $300,000 of taxpayer money to do a revaluation 3 years ago. We've now spent tens of thousands of dollars to lose every single appeal, and we then have to raise people's taxes so that we can give money back to the very same property owners. It's an extremely bad system. I have written tons of articles on how we could do it better. We should reval properties the minute we sell the property. That way there can be no arguing what the value is. And it would also help people like who are in Princeton right now who've had their properties revaled, and their properties have now escalated in value so much that their property taxes are now so much higher that they can no longer afford to live in their homes. We shouldn't want to chase people out of their homes. Properties turn over at a regular rate. When you think about the percentage of rate that they turn over, we can very effectively reval a property every time it sells. It makes sense. It's fair. The new property owner knows what they're going to pay. They'll be able to pay for their new taxes. And I really think that we all have to start thinking about how we reevaluate our towns. As I stand here 3 years ago, I was very angry about the fact that not all the towns in Mercer County have even gone through evaluation. The law is you have to do it every 10 years. We have towns in Mercer County that haven't done it in 20 years. And I can tell you this, Robbinsville will not do it again. We're not going to be alone. This process cannot be arbitrary. It can't be capricious. It has to be either for everyone or no one. But the process really has to be fair. And I hope that we continue to start thinking of better ways to really help property owners in Mercer County. The other question I get a lot is staying within the 2% cap. And the cap law has had a lot of debate, and a lot of people have been talking about it. I'm happy to report that we have actually not only stayed within cap, but we're actually 30% below cap. So the cap law does work. It is difficult. It creates a tremendous amount of challenges, but it also really makes some outside-the-box thinking. We've had to do a lot more with a lot less, and it's working. And I think that it has, helped contain property taxes. And I won't tell you that it's not difficult. I mean, we've made changes that we probably would never have made before. For us, one of the biggest, I think, benefits that we've had is we've had very, very willing bargaining units. Very often I hear about how, the sort of contentious relationship that people have with some of the public employees, and I watch that, and I am really thankful because we don't have that here in our town. Our bargaining units have been tough, but they've been fair. And they've worked with us, and they understand, where we're going. And because, they've had the same, passionate commitment to our community that I have, we've really been able to do some things to change the way the township does business. And they've been understanding, and they've been working with us. And I'm very, very grateful for them for that. And some of them are here today, and I want to continue to thank you for your commitment to our community. We've been fortunate, too, with economic development. We've gotten a number of new ratables in our community. Probably the largest is Green Mountain Coffee has come in. They've taken a 500,000 square foot facility in our community. We recently signed 2 new leases for the old Siemens building, which is 1 million square feet. And we've actually filled 1 million square feet just in the last 30 days with the signing of 2 new businesses moving in. I see some of the folks from Matrix are here. I want to thank them for that. I mean, this is really helping us. And not only just filling our warehouse park, but also creating jobs in Robbinsville that we desperately need. We continue to try and come up with new ideas on transportation and trying to be willing to work with the business community to make sure that they can understand that this is a place that we want to have businesses thrive. Just 2 years ago in 2009, the warehouse park was 50% occupied. Today, just 2 years later, we're about 92% occupied. So it's been a very good change. I've been very, very hopeful. One of the biggest challenges we faced this year is we lost one of our large anchors. In Foxmoor Shopping Center, we lost the Morazzo Thriftway. It has been difficult for many of those business owners in that shopping center when they had not had their anchor there. And it's something that we're really going to start working on. And as we think about what we're going to do, I'm going to take a page out of my friend Mayor Benzavengo's here from Hamilton. And I'm going to take a page out of the mayor's book. I think when we think about what we do with some of these developments, the mayor's really showed some leadership on what you can do with an old development. And I always call it, I can sort of date myself because I call it the Blockbuster Video development, but it's actually a development on 33, and the mayor really saw some vision there to be able to turn that property that was old and probably a little bit tired into something truly amazing right now. He's got a new ShopRite that has moved in, and I think that is really something that we need to do here in Robbinsville for the Foxmoor Shopping Center. So we've been reaching out to new anchor tenants. We've been talking to the developer, and that's something that I hope that we'll be able to create here as well. Sorry, I got two mics on, so they're going to be competing. We also have Town Center, and I was very thankful. Pete, thank you for having us here today. I wanted them to show off your new restaurant. And Town Center continues to be vibrant, continues to be strong. We continue to get new tenants. It's something this was the first town center that the state of New Jersey ever approved. It was something that no one had ever seen before. So this was a real opportunity for us to create something new, something that was walkable, something that was very different than the normal communities that were being built. I think it's been an incredible success, and businesses continue to adopt. And we've had some really interesting pieces that are happening. We are going to begin working on the south side of Town Center. And, our plan was we really wanted the north side of Town Center to come out, and then we would start working on the south side. I'm excited. I noticed that Senator Inverso and Maureen Pirelli from Roma Bank are here, and I want to thank them both. And they have actually got a project that I'm hoping is going to be coming on the corner of Washington Boulevard and Route 33. It's an exciting new project, and I'm hoping to be announcing it shortly. And that will become a really good anchor for the south side of Town Center. And these are some of the opportunities that we really need. When we talk about what redevelopment is, the redevelopment zone is something that our council has been working on. And what they did was, part of the challenges that we've had is that we've had so many different developers wanting to do so many different things on the south side, which is literally directly opposite us. And in addition to, the township owns 46 acres of that property. And when we think about what we want to have happen there, the council came up with a redevelopment plan, and I think they were very wise. They decided to come up with a plan that really left a blank canvas because they wanted to start hearing what the development community thought might be a good idea there. So they really kept it very open, and they've got 9 different developers now that are extremely interested in what's happening on the south side, and they've brought them some really amazing ideas. And I think that was the right approach, because instead of us trying to tell the development community what we wanted, we sat back and they listened to what the possibilities were. And we've seen some amazing ideas that, frankly, we probably would have never thought of. So I think they showed a lot of leadership and a lot of vision. I have 2 council people who have been working on this. The first is Sherry McGowan, who's with us here today. I want to thank you for all your work on this. Sherry's also been helping on coming up with some green initiatives so that perhaps we can start seeing some solar on the south side of Town Center. And the other person is my council president, who is sort of like my deputy mayor. I mean, Chris Siacchio is everywhere. And she has been really a pleasure to work with. I mean, sometimes you hear about towns where they have contentious relationships, and we don't have that. Chris is just, really one of the most hardworking people I've met. She comes to meetings. She often shows up at the building in the morning, and, I'm still there at 5 o'clock, and I'm looking over, and Chris is still there. And she keeps going. She keeps moving, and, she really wants to push the town forward. She's passionate about our community, and, Chris, I thank you for all your hard work. Could not do this without you. part of Town Center is having a commitment of knowing where we want to go and what we want to do. And this is going to be something new. And what we have to think about is, when we think about Town Center, is where we're going with in terms of our housing. Our schools are extremely overcrowded. And probably for the first time in a long time, we have a really good working relationship with our school board. Steve Mayer, our superintendent, is here. And we have been talking and understanding and working together in a way that doesn't usually happen between towns and school boards. But it's working because we have to be understanding of their challenges and the space challenges that they're having. And at the same time, they have to know what we're doing so that they can plan appropriately going forward. We've got kids right now in trailers. We have a definite, population challenge and some expansion challenge on what we're going to do as we move forward, especially in these tough economic times. So today, we're going to announce that we are going to preserve half of the property that the township owns, which is formerly called the Kushner property, and we're going to turn that into a community park. This is going to be... This is going to be about 20 acres. I actually brought some boards here where you can actually see it. And the idea is going to be a commitment to have recreation, both passive recreation. We're going to have a lot of active recreation. One of our visions is we're actually going to start moving forward with the possibility of a public and private partnership where we're going to create a pool. And I think that's something that the community has been looking for a long time. I believe we can do it without using taxpayer dollars. And this is something that, I really think will not only help us control some of the residential growth in the town, but it'll be a real asset to our town, and it'll be a real asset to the business community in Town Center, because this will become a place where people will want to go. And at the same time, hopefully they'll patronize our restaurants and our stores here in Town Center. I'd also like to recognize, I see that my freeholder, John Cimino, is here. I want to thank them. One of the tools that we've used to create parks locally is the county at play grant. It's something that has become invaluable to townships. It's been a great partnership with the county where we can actually go to the county, and instead of them telling us what they want, they actually listen to us and say, listen, you guys plan it and come to us and we'll help you make it happen. And it's been a very effective tool, and I want to thank you for keeping it in your budget this year. We continue to work hard on recreation. We've got a lot of new facilities. We have a new recreation director, and we're going to be building a new field house. We're going to have a new concession area at the soccer fields where we'll have bathrooms, and we're going to continue to really make sure that our active recreation in town is supported. This is something that we've been doing a lot of, and we've been creating a lot of new field space. And as we continue to grow, we want to be able to make sure that our kids have a place to play. We want to make sure that they have a safe environment. And we want to make sure that they can stay fit. And that's something that we have been really doing a lot of, is creating fitness programs. Some of you may have noticed there's a little bit less of me. We have the Biggest Loser challenge going on in our township right now. So I'm trying not to be too embarrassed as the results come in on that. We've had a tremendous amount of projects that are happening in town. Many of you have seen our old municipal building has come down. We are going to be looking for a new place for the township, which I hope to be announcing in the next coming months. We're going to be looking for a permanent location, where we can be. The old municipal building will probably end up becoming a new police station court. This is something that we need. Our current court is in trailers. Our current police station is out of space. And it really makes sense to have the police station and the court in one building. It'll be safer as we move people around. It's safer for the residents as they come in. So it's something that we will be looking at. It's something that we're planning. We're going to take a long-term approach. We're not just going to run out and do it. We're setting money aside so that we can save for it and plan it. And we're doing that on behalf of all of our construction projects, and really having a more long-term approach and a more thoughtful approach on how we're going to be spending our dollars as we go forward. One of the people who have really been helping us in that effort is our newest councilman, Ron Witt. I mean, he has been involved in all of the construction projects that we have going on, and it's truly a pleasure for me to have someone with that expertise to be able to sit in meetings, know what's going on, understand it, explain it to me in layman's terms, and move forward. And it's been a very positive thing, and I want to thank Ron for all his work. This is going to be an interesting one. One of probably the biggest stories that people have seen, and there's been a lot of articles about, has been the conversion law. I have truly no idea what would possess the legislature to pass a law. No offense, my friend Assemblyman D'Angelo is here, and Wayne, I know you voted no, so this refers to everyone but Wayne. But this law, I mean, and the legislature has passed some really bad laws, but this law is really amazing. They passed a law that would allow us to turn senior housing into regular residential. And the leader of the law was actually our Assemblyman, Joe Malone, a person who knew, full well the challenges that we're having in our school district. We have kids in trailer. We have, right now, we are $2 million below adequacy. The state is not funding their own funding formula for our kids in Robbinsville. It makes absolutely no sense how the legislature would then turn around and allow us to turn senior housing into regular housing. And this is truly difficult for local officials because it takes all of the planning that we did in our master plan out of our hands. It not only does that, but it also discriminates against our seniors. The only senior housing we had planned in our town is now gone. So as people age and as they want to stay in town and perhaps go into smaller housing and stay in Robbinsville, they won't have that opportunity because it was taken away. It also took away the public's voice. When we create a master plan, we have days of public testimony where people can come in and talk to us about their ideas and how they feel about things. This was taken away from us. So today I've asked my township attorney to file a federal lawsuit challenging the constitutionality of this law. This law was wrong. It took away the rights of our seniors. It took away the rights of our town. And I really believe that this law needs to be challenged. And I think we're going to be the first town to actually do it. And we're going to fight this law because we can't allow these types of things to happen. We can't allow our kids and our schools to be negatively impacted that way. And we also, as mayors, cannot allow for our voices to no longer be heard. So probably early next week we will be filing this lawsuit, and I will certainly keep you all informed of how it will go. I don't take the issue lightly, but I really do believe that we have to protect our rights, and this has affected, my neighbors. Mayor Benzavango has spoken out on this. The mayor of East Windsor has spoken out on this. This is really a bad law, and we have to be very, very serious about dealing with it. Some of you may have seen that I may have been a little bit outspoken during some of our public safety issues. We had a hurricane that came through, and we had some major challenges with our electrical. We were out for about 5 days, and I may have been speaking out a little bit loudly on the issue. Some people are laughing. But I will tell you this, it actually has driven some really positive conversation. I've actually had a meeting. The CEO of JCP&L came to see us, and we really had some good dialogue about how we can make things better. And I think that is absolutely the right approach. I think that, after you heard from some mayors, there's some things that we can do differently. I'm excited about the fact that they're willing to listen and that we can make changes not only in how we communicate, will also save us from having days of no power, which will help our business community and our residents. So I'm thankful that, while there was some noise to get to this point, I think that, sometimes that has to happen to really come up with a better result. And I'm very pleased that the JCP&L has been willing to listen to us and talk to us and really come up with some outside-the-box solutions, which is exactly what we're looking for. And I also think that it shows some, the commitment to the communities that they're willing to listen and hear us and be with us on some of these issues. So I'm very, very thankful for them for that. It also never ceases to amaze me when I watch, in an issue like that. As mayor, you're a little bit like a parent. You send, some people into harm's way, and you do it so that they can help others. And we've got some members from police and fire, I think, that are here today, and if you guys would stand up. Come on. They do an absolutely amazing job. I mean, they really do. And, as the days of the video, in-car video has come out, it's given me an opportunity to see some of the things that they actually go through on a daily basis. And it truly is amazing. And it is awe-inspiring to see how they oftentimes put themselves in harm's way to help others. And I really appreciate everything you do and certainly everything you did during Hurricane Irene. We have another interesting event this year. One of our councilmen had an interesting idea. We own a tremendous amount of farm property in our town, and it was being used for lots of different things. But one of our council people came up with the idea that perhaps we could sell this to actual farmers and take it off the rolls while still keeping it as preserved open space. There were a number of challenges that affected us from being able to do this, but our councilman stuck with it and really did an amazing job in making this happen. And we were able to sell 3 properties this year. Selling those 3 properties netted us $1.3 million. It is also the reason that we were able to preserve not only the park here, but also the park that we're going to be preserving in the Foxmore, right next to the Foxmore Shopping Center. That person was Councilman Vince Calcagno. Vince, thank you. We also are going to be coming up with a new initiative, and it's something that really affected me last year. We were invited, Congressman Chris Smith, who happens to be a Robbinsville resident, invited us down and our seniors down to Washington, and I got to tag along with my kids to go see the Capitol. And while we were there, my wife and I were shopping and we were buying some things, and as we were flipping over the replica White House and the replica Congress, and we noticed that everything was made in China. And some people are laughing, but it just seems something to be wrong that when you're turning over the White House and it's made in China, that's just not something that we, as people who live here should be doing. And Wayne and I have had numerous discussions on the fact that we need to make sure that our people are working and that people in the United States are working. I don't believe that Americans want handouts. I think they want jobs. And we have to really be passionate about creating jobs. So we're going to be announcing a program over the next couple of weeks, working with Ursula and also the Chamber, our local economic development committee, and we're going to create a real buy local program where we're going to be engaging the stores, we're going to be engaging the residents, so that we can start buying local. We can start having a real discussion about buying local and having it mean something. And I think we as leaders need to start talking about this as a bully pulpit, because when our neighbors are working, then we have jobs here. When we have jobs here, people are paying their taxes. When people are paying their taxes, your mayors are happy. And it's important. I mean, when we think about, I go to a lot of awards dinners, and many of them, here at the Chamber. I would love to have one of the next awards dinners be having an award for the business who did the most business with another Mercer County business person. And if we could start tracking points and really start encouraging us to do business with each other. I own a local business along with my wife here in Robbinsville. I want to make sure that we're all helping one another, because when we're vibrant and we're hiring and everyone in this room is hiring, that means we're employing more people in Mercer County. That means we're all going to be employed and we're going to be helping one another. So I hope it's something that we really start thinking about. We're going to start it here in Robbinsville. Hopefully some other towns will pick up on it, and we can really start helping one another, because when our businesses are vibrant, we're all doing well. We all have jobs and there's opportunities for each and every one of us. Sorry, you've talked too long when you have to go to the water. Last but not least, I would like to thank my staff. Many of them are here today. We truly have a great members of our community. I mean, they are passionate about what we do. Our staff comes in and they work hard and they really challenge the status quo. I am truly not an easy person to work for. They're laughing, they know. And because I really don't believe in the status quo. Everyone knows the last thing you say when you walk into a meeting with me is that's how we've done it before. Because that is not where we're going to start. Where we're going to start is, how can we do it better? How can we be more efficient? How can we be different? And that's created a lot of opportunities for us, but it's also created a tremendous amount of stability. We reward our staff for thinking outside the box. We've made it okay for them to say, hey, you know what? Let's challenge things. Let's do things differently. We have a truly remarkable amount of department heads. Troy Tazi is in the back, Tim McGuff, Danielle from administration. Everyone talks about township administration. They always think it's this huge pool of people. It's actually 3 people doing a huge amount of work. We have our department heads here as well at the table. And if you guys would all just please stand and be recognized, and thank you for all of your hard work.
That will bring WZBN's presentation of the State of Robbinsville 2012 to a close. I'm Mark Fontes. We'll see you soon.